Hey there, boys, girls, the YouTube world. Today, the Duff Dog and I are going to see if we can't get this 1971 Ford Torino GT running for the first time in, near as I can tell, 24 years. So I'm in the metropolis of Sturm, North Dakota. Yeah, if you haven't been here, don't blink. You might miss it. I was talking to the owner of the local watering hole. He said, I got this Torino GT that you need to own. I came and checked it out. I remember this car as a kid. This car's got some local history. And according to the folklore, my uncle claims this thing would lay two patches like nobody's business. There may have been some adult beverages involved at that time, so I don't know if that's what made the car do that or if that's what made his memory do that. But anyway, I'd chased this car for years. It changed hands 1, 2, 3 times since then, and I'd made offers to all the owners, and I finally was able to chase this thing down. So let's check this thing out. Duff's out there checking out what he checks out. This thing's got a custom fabricated hitch. I don't know a ton about Torinos. I don't know a ton about this vintage of Fords, but it's kind of got the fastback thing going. GT had the stripes. It's got a 351 Cleveland and a 2-barrel. It's got some 14-inch Firestone Firehawks. It's been in this red oxide primer in the back half since the early 1990s. When I can remember, the car looks like it's got bucket seats and a console. Until he told me about this car, that he had it. This is the closest I've been to it my entire life. There's our 351 emblem, Torino emblem. And like I said, 24 years. The plates are off it because it used to be sitting in town, and they were getting in trouble because it wasn't registered. So they took the plates off. And that's about the vintage I remember it. Ooh, she's part of the Hot Rod Power Club. Founding member, dang. Dang. We're gonna call this car Leland, because that's the guy who I remember owning it for years. Leland's no longer with us. You see the front end's got a little damage. I think the GT's only had that really cool hood. It's missing that fender because it was damaged. So what I remember is old Leland had a bullnose-ish era Ford, like let's just call it an 86 2-wheel drive, long bed extended cab. And he had like side pipes that ran kind of like a running board. And then they came up by the passenger rear wheel and then shot up about halfway up the car, the box, the body line. And he was fiddling around with that thing one day in his front yard, and he parked these two cars facing each other on the street in front of his place. And I always remember a battery charger out there. Leland was the originator of the old hybrid. He never bought a battery. He just kept the old one going. And when he'd pull up after work or before work or whenever he had a car parked there, he had it hooked up to that booster pack or that battery charger. But anyway, he had these two cars facing nose to nose in front of his house, and he had the hood open on his pickup, and I think his kid might have been involved. But anyway, that diesel stuck wide open, and somehow it was in gear, and it drove over the front end of this thing. Is the way that I remember it. This car basically was a hit and run, but he hit his own car. I don't remember if those pieces were ever on there. I don't know if we can read that dealership. We'll see if we can read it when we get home. Orlando, Florida? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
State Farm decal down there. Leland was quite the engineer. He actually had some patents, I believe, so I'm sure this hitch was his doing, kind of like the exhaust on that thing. It was pretty ornate exhaust. This quarter's caved in, super rusty. She's Holly equipped, or the decal says so anyway. Well, yeah, I think they took the fender off and they started fixing it. This thing sat underneath a blue tarp from '99 until Leland passed, and here it is. But we're gonna load her up with the old rollback, see if we can make something of it. First things first, let's see if we can't pump up some tires. Go from there. I always really dug the beauty rings on this thing, and the dog dishes. Just, it's cool they never put any Kraggers on it. Well, you keep hunting and I'll do all the work. I think I'm actually gonna swing around the block, pull in there so we can get this thing loaded up. We're putting it on backwards so that way the hood don't fly off. Multitasking. While I go around the block, hopefully this tire goes up. I'm betting the odds are pretty good these things don't hold air. All right, looks like we got air in all of them. You guys don't have one of these 18-volt Milwaukee compressors, you should get one. Great Christmas gift for that special someone, or tell you that special someone that that's what you want. They're a lifesaver. I'm not a professional tow truck operator, so don't take tips from me. I really don't like that hitch, so we're gonna test it out, see if it'll pull this thing up here. It should. So much junk to sniff around, eh, Duff? Duff, find anything good over there? Any birds? We did snag a couple roosters last Saturday, and I did see one driving in here, but it looks like it's just mourning doves around these parts. I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera here so you guys get a better view instead of just, you know, the view of whatever it is from behind. The POV view, that's what I got. Oh my gosh, I just noticed it's got boom tube side pipes. As you can see, the majestic sun is setting in the west in this gorgeous 1st of December evening. So yeah, let's get loaded up and get out of here. I know we got lights on the rollback, but dang, no lights left in Leland here. It looks like that hood is held on by hopes and dreams. Better throw a strap on that, as well as the car. I like the rollback. We got to learn our ways though. Getting the winch to extend is not, it's not going so well. We need to do some work to the old Ramsey winch here. All right, let's get loaded up, find a dog, get home. Sandwich time, Friday night. All right, we're back. It's a couple mornings later. Go check out mortske.com. Get your hat so that you can get your hat nice and sweaty like mine. So for the nasty hat competition coming up Cinco de Drinko, you can win some fantastic prizes. Get your hat. We got two different styles. We got the do and we got the low. They are available at mortske.com. We also got shirts, we got decals, we got magnetic screwdrivers, we got magnetic can koozies, we got some sweet new banners. Anyway, I was having some sandwiches, admiring old Leland here. Got to thinking, and I remember this car having hideaway headlights. Turns out those things are mucho dineros these days. Impossible to find, super expensive. When you do, and it turns out this thing is a 70. Just in doing some research, I am not a Ford expert, especially in this vintage, the muscle car vintage, but sure enough on the taillights it says 70, which maybe they use those taillights for multiple years and they never remarked them, but I'm pretty sure that this car was a 70 GT with hideaway headlights. We got some bad news though. You want to share that bad news with them? Was it happy news to you? Oh yeah, happy news. That tire is low already, so we hate low tires. Let's lift that thing up in the air and let's put a tube in that old Firehawk so she rolls around. Duffle up, I guess is? Yeah. I'm thinking these headlights were vacuum operated, Duff. And that was the big vacuum canister. Yeah, right there, right there. Maybe we should take that hood off now too, huh? Would you prefer to help me with that? Could you be persuaded? Not a chance? Okay. Thanks, appreciate it. You want that side or this side? That side? Okay. That side? Okay. We both have to be on opposite sides. I'll just do it myself. Whatever you do, don't stand underneath it. Don't scratch the paint. Oh, we're gonna need some hood hinges too, it appears. Before we get up in the air, let's assess the old situation. I'm pretty sure we can put that on the old English stump or drive over with the old English skid steer, get that all straightened out. Real nice.
Really nice.
Put a couple of ready rod hood pins in it. Not gonna be a problem. The radiator might be okay. I don't know if this is the original one or something that somebody just set in there, because that radiator hose looks too short, but it's not a flexi hose. Factory power steering car. Looks like it was a factory AC car, but we're missing the pump, which makes sense seeing how it came from Florida. Florida, man. Ugh. Ford's in their silly strut towers. Looks like, I was gonna say it's rusted out, but no, there's just a grease zerk that somebody torched a hole to grease the upper control arm. Oh, don't worry, they did it on both sides. Ford starter solenoid, so we don't need any keys, although I did see them in there. Battery box. Delete. Chrome air cleaner. Sure enough, there's our Holly, as advertised, but it's just that giant little 2-barrel. Can we have a giant little 2-barrel? Those things are ginormous compared to like a Rochester 2G. These are a unibody car, I presume, because Ford was pretty notorious for that. The Mustangs and the Cougars were unibodies. And they had the VIN numbers, the partial VIN, stamped right there. So it looks like it kind of got, oh, that side's humped up there too. Maybe that's factory. But there's going to be a little straightening required from there forward to patch this thing up if we do find a fender. Power brake car. I'm pretty sure this is a Cleveland. We'll have to do a little investigating. That's what I was told when I got the car, or when I tried purchasing the car from Leland back in the day. He said it had a Cleveland. Somebody else told me it had a Cleveland. Anywho, looks like we're missing a throttle bracket too. I don't know if I got any Cleveland parts. When was the last time we had a Cleveland? Was that 57 Ford pickup, Duff? No, I think that was a Windsor. 351 Windsor. So this is the hot rod part of it. He claims this is a 351 Cleveland, and I could tell just by the valve covers that that is not a Cleveland. Ford likes going by how many bolts are in the valve covers. Looks like this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. So I'm guessing this is a 289, 302, or 351 Windsor. Herein lies the beauty of Ford. Let's have 3 different 351s. Let's have the Windsor, the modified, and the Cleveland. All in the same, probably the same year they probably made them, probably in 70. So I'm not going to go into much explanation, but basically the 351 Windsor was made for eternity and was basically just a big boy version of the old 289 and 302s. And then I think the Cleveland came along, which had, does Ford have big blocks and small blocks? It was a big block with a small block bell housing. And then the modified came along, which was, I don't know, had some big block bell housing. I don't understand how they all worked and what did, but I always understood that Cleveland was the good one. I could tell you that pickup had a 73 Cleveland in it when I got it, and that thing wouldn't get out of its own way. So I don't know. And somebody said if you put the earlier camshafts in the later Clevelands, or you put a Cleveland camshaft in a modified, it makes them good because they got retarded camshafts. And so anyway, yeah, Ford. The only thing that interchanges, according to my uncle, was oil and antifreeze. Otherwise, you better check your No, what did he say? The only thing that interchanges on a Ford is oil and antifreeze, and you better check your operator's manual first. And there's a lot of truth to that. Small block, you could take the old Iron Duke 4-cylinder and bolt it up the same bell housing as a 502 or a 572 Chevy big block. GM is just amazing for interchangeability. Ford, not so much. Let's make a 427, a 428, and a 429. Probably all in the same year and not have much interchange. And then let's make 3 different completely different 351s. The only thing that probably interchanges other than the oil antifreeze is maybe the carburetor. Spark plug if you're lucky. Maybe distributor cap. All right, rant over. Let's get this thing up in the air and let's get a tube in that Firehawk. And let's get this thing up in the air. Take a look at the bottom side. I wonder if this thing's ever been in a heated shop or on a lift, because like I said, I remember this thing slept outside forever. And you get to sleep inside every night. What a lucky dog. Yeah, you got her made, Duff. Everybody watches just for you. Yeah, give him that butt wiggle. How fast can your tail go? You're getting all the pets this morning. We got work to do, pal. You gonna go do the other side? I'll do this side because I don't want you scuffing the beauty rings or the boom tubes coming out the side. NASCAR stuff. I feel like you can tell the difference in the Clevelands and Windsors and everything is the amount of bolts in a valve cover. I think a 351 Windsor and a 302 Ford share the same valve covers, but I think it's a different amount of bolts, 5 or 7 or 6 on modifieds and Clevelands. We're gonna have to do some digging. I don't want to misinform you. I don't know that I've ever run across this before, but I'm pretty sure we got to take the beauty ring off before we get the center cap off. Most of these cars had what they call GT wheels, which was a stamped steel wheel with some ribs and whatnot in it. But I like these. We just got to find some more pieces to make them all. I think we need one more beauty ring. Center cap, I'm pretty sure is the same as Ford used on a lot of things. But anyway, let's get this off there. Yeah, I remember this car being under a blue tarp forever after they schmucked it up. And there's the remnants of said blue tarp. Cripes, they didn't leave much room in the old tire and the boom tubes. How big are these hogs? Freaking 14 by 7s. Monstrosities. There we go, got that done. I didn't see a date code, and I think the date code thing was pretty hard to interpret pre-2000. Nevertheless, Firestone Firehawk SS10. I think it's even got the old Firehawk right there. What a classic tire. My dad's 65 Chevy C10 that I still haven't found. Although a few people did send some leads. Had these on it, I remember. Classics. Didn't look like they had hardly any miles on them either, unfortunately. But they are all weather checked to crap. So get a look at this thing. It's got kind of like a Mustang suspension with the single lever control arm and then a strut rod holding it in place. Factory disc brakes. A whole lot of oh, are you kidding me? Ford, you still had a ram assist power steering in 1970 for the Mustangs this way too? These things, I got it in my wagon. They drive good, in my opinion, but they are leak city and they're big bucks to go through. Ram assist in 1970. Huh. Anyway, there's that. Ford's, it's hard to do like engine swaps on these things to put them in, you know, a street rod or anything because everything's rear sump. These are a front sump, which was pretty much Ford's thing, I guess. Looks like it had a inline heater in the lower radiator hose. Oh, that is a stock radiator hose there, so maybe that is the right radiator and didn't get bunged up too bad. We'll find out. Look at this. The old cleaver had so many horse torques that it tore the engine mount loose. And old Leland, instead of buying a new engine mount, he just threw a chain around her. That ain't going nowhere.
He's going nowhere. Where you going? Nowhere.
Moving our way back, I assume this would be a C6, if it is in fact a Cleveland. But maybe it's a C4. I'm going with, that looks pretty small. I'm going to say C4. I think C4s have a bolt-on bell housing and C6s are cast. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe even Chin will. That'd be nice of him to correct it for me so I don't look like such a dummy. Look at this exhaust though. I got some booger weld splice there. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Little tiny glass pack. Oh boy. If you can't weld good, weld a lot. Park brake still intact. Yeah, actually, other than that splice there, this is all one piece. And that's a pretty intricate bend because they have to sneak by the old ram assist. Oh, of course, that manifold has a crack up there. You can see more remnants of the old blue tarp. I wonder what this was holding. Who knows? Little number 9 wire for Quick Dick McDick.
Till next time, this is Quick Dick McDick reminding you, a man will never get tired of pulling on his number 9 wire.
Floors look really solid. I'm guessing old Nimmy Bush. This looks like a Nimmy exhaust job, and Nimmy was right across the street from Leland. I think one of Leland's stepkids actually worked there at one point. But anyway, oh yeah, tied her all together. Got her mounted there, got her mounted there. She's real rigid. And then it looks like they just took some stainless pipe and notched it, put some nice band clamps on it. I take that back. Nimmy did an excellent job on this thing, other than that terrible splice up there and the terrible weld job, because I think he's got a 2 1/4 muffler on some 2-inch pipe, or 2 1/2 and 2 1/4, whatever. Floor pans are okay, never mind. They're a little soft. There's a hole there. Must have added a seat belt, or oh, that might be a factory seat bolt. Never mind. Okay, floors are as good as I thought. Dang it. But yeah, you can see unibody construction. It's got this C channel here that's welded to the floor, which is welded to another channel. And then the whole subframe, I assume, bolts in. Oh, dang it, there's rust in the subframe there. I don't know how it all ties together. Yeah, you can't unbolt these like you can with a Mopar or like a Camaro K-member. I think Mustang Fox bodies bolt in and out too. But anyway, moving to the rear. Look at these frickin' coilovers. Monroe is nothing but the finest. You can tell somebody's had her tied down on a trailer more than us, because there's chain marks over there and over there. Let me get this cleaned up and see what she says. 300 gear ratio, so not that good. I don't see anything telling me that it's a limited slip though. And it turns opposite directions. So that was a lie, unless somebody put a different rear end in it. Crapes. Well, here I was hoping the best part of this car was going to be the posi. Guess not. Duped again.
You've been duped.
Here's our factory exhaust hangers. It was a factory dual exhaust car, it sure would appear. Looks like the original brake hose. Still got the breather on the rear end though. That's a plus. The fuel tank is the trunk floor. Again, common in the Mustangs and Cougars. Yeah, rod in the subframe here where the leaf springs mount. This car's gonna need some work. You can see right into the trunk. You can see light coming through the 6x9 speakers in the rear deck. That is a pretty solid hitch though. Bunch of 1/2-inch plate steel, and then they use these 2 mounting holes up here. Pretty rigid. And then they put some more angle iron on the side here for your tongue weight. Oh, Leland, he engineered her up real good. But it's real hideous as well. This quarter is way more solid, but a little bit more bent up. It's caved in over here. I'm guessing they galvanized these rockers. Yep, Ford is pretty notorious for that on that vintage. So those are all nice and solid. So that's a plus. The dog legs are solid in the fenders. I'm trying to find something good to say about this car. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get her set down on the ground. And try not to show our disappointment in that Ford doesn't have that limited slip or posi or whatever Ford calls their 2-wheel peel. This tire wasn't flat yet, but it was flat when we picked it up, so we're going to put a tube in that. But let's take a look at this suspension of Ford's. So not only is this inner fender an inner fender, it's also structural because it holds the spring and the shock. And instead of being between the frame rail and the lower control arm like we're used to with GMs, it's on top of the upper control arm. And then they also got some different grease points for these upper control arms and stuff like that. But yeah, they're stacked. So you got your lower control arm, your sway bar, you got this strut rod, your upper control arm, which if you got rid of all this, looks pretty conventional. It's got 2 pivot points or 1 shaft that goes through and connects in 2 spots, so it's in double shear. But then it's got the spring on top with a shock. And so that's something to look for if you're looking at these Ford cars that have this style design at unibody, is make sure that that inner fender is in good shape, because if it's rusty or banged up or schmucked up or been cobbled together from a collision, you're gonna fight it for a long time. So, because it's not easily replaced, you can't buy these parts, I'm assuming. I don't know a ton about Fords, but I'm guessing nobody reproduces it. Maybe they do for the Mustangs and stuff. And also you can see this thing's been smacking the bump stop. So either these springs are sacked out or they've been cut down, but she's definitely whacked the old bump stop a few times. So just want to take a look at that suspension because it's interesting to me. You don't see that design on a GM ever. Okay, let's get her on the ground and play with her some more. Oh, there's the VIN number. Is there a partial up here? No, that looks like just a part number. There's the VIN number on the side. That's probably hidden by the fender when it's installed. Now before we can do anything, if we're gonna get this engine turned over, we can't have the fan spacer rubbing against the radiator, so let's address that. We could take the radiator out, but that requires unhooking the tranny lines. I think we can just safely tie it up out of the way. Yeah, we should be able to do that. Let's see if I can find a strap. The cheapest ratchet strap known to man, aka free, and I think I still overpaid, but it'll work just fine for this. Or it won't. Oh yeah. Well, we don't want to be prying on our pet cock. That baby ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere. It wasn't nowhere. Where you going? Nowhere.
Looks like they must have an aftermarket temp gauge. That's usually what that thing right there means. And it's a point style ignition, because I don't see Ford's magical ignition box. It's got a Hastings oil filter on it. Stock 2-barrel intake. I can just tell by these valve covers that it's a Cleveland. We'll elaborate into that later. Well, look at this heater hose conundrum they got over here. We got all kinds of, we got a garden hose Y with shut-offs, and they're both shut off. So I'm guessing the heater core leaked, and this was his way of fixing that, but still maybe having heat. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Look at this electrical. You got a little round connector there. These connectors are not factory. We got, oh my gosh, more insulated butt connectors. Look at this guy. They're using a butt connector as a T, and you can tell it was crimped from a pliers, and they wired it off onto a spade, and then that spade wires off into this black and yellow wire, which goes to another butt connector, which goes to 2 more butt connectors down here. I think this is for your, this is your regulator for your alternator. So charging issues, yeah, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. We also got a couple of red power wires, pretty heavy ones, 10 gauge, 12 gauge, going up into the firewall. So I'm sure there's some fancy switch in there for that stuff. Fix the antenna over here. I'm guessing the old spring-loaded fwanger option was not factory from Ford. That's fine. It also looks like somebody added on a manual choke. I don't think this carburetor is original because the manual choke seems like not an option on a 70 Torino GT. And then also the fuel hose is just that. It's a rubber hose, and I'm guessing there should be a steel line. Oh, it goes from steel, or it starts at steel right here down by the distributor. So maybe it is a factory. Well, the choke's loose. The throttle blade is not so, I mean, it moved, but it doesn't go back. So we're gonna have to address that if we get her turning over. Where's the dipstick at, Jimmy? If I were a Ford engineer, where would I put the dipstick? Underneath the car? Oh, there it is. If it was a snake, I'd be dead. Well, I don't know what chewed on that dipstick, but she's way over full. And it's, oh, look at this. Oh no. Betting there's some water in there. The old blue tarp didn't seal up the engine real well, I take it. Let's see if it turns over before we drain any water out of the oil, because I'm sure there is. Ooh, master cylinder's completely bone dry. Dang it, I thought that was one thing we'd have going for us, was brakes, since it's only been sitting for 24 years. We could go straight to the battery to turn it over, but with all that electrical over there, I feel like that's a fire hazard. So let's just go to a pipe wrench. You want to show him how you turn them over with a pipe wrench? He usually puts it right on this knob on the end of the old power steering pump and just clamps onto that. We'll give that a whirl. Better yet, let's use a socket on the alternator. What size is it going to be? 15/16? Good guess. You're going to want to tighten that nut, not loosen it. And then you're going to want to just watch it slip on the pulley. Oh, is there a bolt? Nope. Oh, there is. Can we go right on the crank? Is it the same size? We can't be that lucky. We can! Good work, Ford. 15/16 on the crank snout. We're gonna need a little extension though. All right, let's see what happens when we put it on the crank. Oh, not looking good. Well, I guess now's a good time to pull the spark plugs out. Son of a biscuit. Not what I wanted to do today. I don't know what's going on there, but that's definitely not water. A little oily. Valve cover gasket leak, maybe? That's the other part about these inner fenders and strut towers. It doesn't make spark plug removal real fun. Oh, I can't imagine what this thing would be like with headers on it. I mean, other than fast. Super fast. Probably doesn't run because it's got R45 TS Delco plugs in it. Ooh, there's the wet one. Gwinner up to your regularly scheduled programming, because we had to have a nice little conversation with the deputy of the Sargent County PD, because we had somebody just show up uninvited this weekend, so that's going to take a little time out of my day. All right, now that we got done filing all the criminal trespass paperwork, we can finally get back to work. Had give a little time for the old coil to set it on the cylinders. I think we're gonna see who our battery sponsor is this week and just go balls deep and throw a battery in this thing and jump the starter solenoid, see what happens. Who knows, maybe it'll turn over. None of the plugs really looked suspect. See, no complaints whatsoever. They were, however, Delcos, so maybe that was a problem. R45 TSs, which is a pretty common number. See if you guys can see that. Let me get her over here. There you go. See that electrode? Is that an angle like that? I've never seen a plug like that. And of course, they're all like that. This was whatever cylinder. Ford's goofy. It was the front one on the driver's side. I think that's number 5, maybe. Anyway, that one's really oily, like valve cover was leaking in there. We broke this one because it was really hard to get at the shock tower, but where's the rustiest one? Mojo's up there hacking up a lung biscuit. Yeah, none of them look super rusty. So I think we're in trouble, but Duff says just throw a battery in it, it'll turn over. Coil in the cylinders, fixes everything. Right? Yep. Okay, this is too good not to share. Florida Man is our battery sponsor this week. This battery's been riding around in old dirt Reynolds all summer. And the battery box looks slightly worse than that on that car. And it actually rubbed a hole right here, just a little tin hole, and it was leaking battery acid onto the concrete, screwing up the concrete, screwing up the nice purple paint on that car. Anyway, this thing sat here for, I don't know how long, over a month. I messaged Wes, I said, you got any ideas how to fix this? He said, I don't know, some type of epoxy. Didn't have any suggestions. So I mentioned it to the man, the myth, the legend, the Mojo. And he says, yeah, I'll take care of that. He's kind of a jack of all trades, and he's an expert in the epoxy. So I come out one day, and he's got it DD schmood everywhere. I go, what is that? I said, that looks like body filler. And he goes, yep, that's Bondo. He says, we used to do this all the time. We'd get these batteries that were screwed up in shipping. He worked at a parts place, and they would fix it with this body filler, and then they would paint it. And that's exactly what he did, is he painted this. You can't even, I wouldn't even know hardly. But yeah, there's body filler all right in here. And then he painted it. But I guess they would do that, and they wouldn't sell the batteries. They would put them in their own vehicles. So I guess we'll see if it works. Body filler on a battery. I know you can JB weld them together, because I may have been part of blowing the top apart on one, because you don't want to weld around them when they're on a charger, because they do match in the gas tank, boom, boom things, but...
Match in the gas tank, boom, boom.
And that one seemed to work fine. We JB welded that together, but it wasn't sitting below the fluid level, so I guess we'll see if it leaks. Anywho, Florida Man, battery sponsor this week. You too can be a battery sponsor at mortskerepair.com. It's crunchy. Where's our, is this our negative? Our ground? Oh my, look at, oh, it just gets better. So they got a body ground here that's going to the solenoid, and they just crammed a self-tapper right into the battery cable end. Oh my word. Yeah, I'm sure we're not gonna have any poor connections here. So, now we just need to get a loser switch. I'm guessing it's this one. I don't work on enough Fords. See what happens. A whole lot of nothing. Yeah, that's definitely the starter side too. Well, now we gotta see if our battery's any good, or if our solenoid's any good, or if we got a bad connection, so we'll let the troubleshooting commence. Yeah, we got the old Milton load tester here. And it says 4 volts. So I guess we're gonna have to charge that battery. Dang it. Apparently putting Bondo on the base of it. DD Speed Shop style, but we'll fix it. Apparently all our batteries are hibernating for the winter. So we're gonna use old Keith Benoit with a booster pack here. See if that works. It's trying. I don't want to smoke that starter or the flex blade because I don't have either one on hand, and that flex blade does not sound like much fun to swap out. But we're gonna keep trying anyway. Yeah! We have created fire!
Yes! Look what I have created! I have made fire!
Or an engine that rotates anyway. You smell that? I don't care how much coil costs. It's worth it. Not a paid sponsor, but that stuff smells amazing. Just dab a little on your neck. The ladies will flock to you at the parts store. Probably not, but it'd be funny to do it anyway. And then do it. Just do it sometime when you're in the shop and go in the house, see what your significant other says. Comment down below the reactions. All right, let's see if it works again. Oh, you think we're gonna go for a ride just because we got her turning over? You gonna come up here and check it out? Can you boop that with your nose? Boop. He says, I want nothing to do with that thing. You gonna help Mojo put a door handle on the rollback? You're just a leech on this place. You're the face of the place at the same time. You gotta contribute around here once in a while. Okay, or not. You just do your thing and look good. Yeah, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Such a good puppers. So I guess now let's see if we got some spark before we put the plugs back in there. Yeah, you want to watch me get electrocuted, I bet, don't you?
By the power of Grayskull!
Ow! Yep, it's got spark. Where's the coil at? Right there. What is with all this AC garbage? Why is it still here? I'm guessing the AC compressor was gone years ago. Oh, for cheese and rice. I don't have time for this. What the French toast? There. Go up there. We're on a jumper wire from the battery to the coil and just bypass all the ignition. See if we got spark. I'm sure we're gonna have to flick the points with the old Mortske flick method. But check out this master cylinder. I was like, man, they got both fittings coming out the driver's side and right into that strut tower. This one is the rear reservoir. Front reservoir is a bleeder. So then you think, oh, it must have the brake line coming out the passenger side, so both sides. No, it comes out the bottom. Ford did some strange things, so this is probably like a Torino only, maybe master cylinder. I'm guessing that's the front reservoir because it's the larger one, or for the front brakes. Comes out the side, and the rear one, the small reservoir, comes out the bottom. So strange. Must be newer shocks too, huh? What a deal. Monroe's? Oh yeah. Well, they're blue. I assume blue is Monroe. No? Duff says no, not Monroe's. Hopefully we don't have a giant vacuum leak if we do get it running with all this hideaway headlight garbage. Let's grab the shortest jumper wire that we own. Which side goes the distributor? That side. I do like how Ford's got these just slide-on connectors on their coil. Plus they're threaded so you can put eyelets. They did an excellent job there. All right. Now, if we pull our coil wire off, let's see if we got the sparky spark. You know, this cotton tree fuzz on everything. Where can we go? Valve cover? Yeah. Hey, look, that valve cover says it's okay. Now let's see if that valve cover's got some spark for us. No spark. You know what that means? Time for the Mortske flick. And what better way to do the Mortske flick than with your Mortske and Duff approved Screwed by Mortske Repair magnetic screwdriver. Get yours at mortske.com. Oh, bail clips, get that out of the way. That's old cap, still says made in USA on it. Oh, don't put all the leaves in there though. All right, we got power to, oh yeah, I definitely got power to it. She's arcing. Give her a few flickaroos. Now watch. Dang it, nothing. Maybe give her a few more. Try her again. Nothing. We're probably gonna have to file them. That's unheard of. 24 years? That isn't even that long ago. Those points should just come right back to life. Good thing we got the old Hansi file. I'm gonna use this thing in a long time. Bump it over so the points are closed. Slide this guy through there a few times. Give her a couple of flicks just for good luck. Oh yeah, now they're gonna work for sure. Oh, what the French. I don't know why these things are not cooperating. According to the internet, quick search for a 70 Ford shows a 302. So it's 20 thou points gap. So we're gonna have to open these up just a hair. Probably should take the power off. You know, I'm not a huge proponent to putting new parts in, but these things look pretty sad. We'll try adjusting them, but I don't have much faith. Oh, that one is loose. That don't help. Now let's see what happens. I do believe these points have seen better days. All right, it isn't very often, but once in a while, you gotta break out the old parts cannon, as Wesley calls it, and throw some new points in. I'm gonna go see if I got some before we get that far. Oh man, Duff. This is why we don't like putting points in, especially in Fords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of points before we found the right set. And then guess what? I didn't fix it. So now we're gonna try the old condenser. Maybe that was the problem the entire time, but I know you're supposed to replace points and condensers at the same time. Anywho, I tried it with the points and didn't fix it. So now let's put a condenser capacitor in the old distributor and see if it goes bang bang. Carry on. Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
It's just one screw and then the connection. Ooh. The old Screwed by Mortske Repair screwdriver works amazing for doing the ignition work here. Okay, maybe not that amazing. Son of a biscuit. It's not the screwdriver's fault. Operator error. Why is it so tight in here? That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said.
There, just use the magnet instead of the screwdriver. Now we're cooking with gas. If only they made a screwdriver that was magnetized. Oh, look at this, the old Hold Easy TR-2 spring action. Yeah. I've had this screwdriver for way too long, and oh my gosh, that thing works amazing. Dang. That is some riveting stuff right there. Judging by the shape of this screw, this isn't the first condenser to go in the old Leland machine. Good screwdriver. This isn't my favorite screwdriver. Who's this by? Wera? The tip of your screwdriver, just the tip. We should have a segment talking about screwdrivers, and we'll call it just the tip. But a nice solid tip on a screwdriver makes or breaks it. Second thing is the handle. You know, the girth, the feel of the shaft. Anyway, enough about screwdrivers, but I do fancy a good screwdriver. And these ignition wrenches, I bet I've had these things for 15 years and probably used them about 4 times. They are handy in ignition applications. Maybe that's why they call them ignition wrenches. Huh. Who would have known? Alright. Now let's see if we got the old Sparky Spark. Total overhaul, points, and condenser. You don't see that on this channel very often. Okay, now we need to figure out why we don't have spark. Just kidding, it's gonna have spark for sure. What in the French is going on? No way we got a bad coil. Not a chance. No way. It's never a bad coil. What the heck? Add coil wire. So it's got spark when I flick the points. Does not spark when we turn it over. Yes! Finally! I have no idea why that was so hard. We've done this way too many times, but it seems there's always a hang-up. Looks like it's got a standard ignition parts rotor on it. Seems in pretty good shape, so we'll put that right back together. The old internet says to gap them to 20 thou, so we're gonna double check that. Good enough for the girls we go with. We're probably at about 20 and a half, maybe 21 thou. Yeah, not a lot of corrosion in there. That's good. Let's just hope that nobody's messed with the timing. Better hook the old coil wire back up. Yeah, that would be a big disappointment. It appears has... Oh, is there 2 vacuum advance? I was gonna say the vacuum advance ain't hooked up, but there's one here. Never mind, I'm just gonna shut my K-hole because I don't speak Ford. That's curious. They took the fan off, but they put the bolts back in it. I was gonna check to see if these bolts were in here, because if you don't have the bolts in there and tight, the fan can come off. So I mean, it's pretty much just prepared for an electric fan. Because boy, do I love the sound of some whirring electric fans, especially when people hook them right up to their ignition source, so they come on immediately. Better yet, when they have them hooked up to just battery power, so their car's parked there when they get to the car show, and you just hear whirr next to you. We're just gonna make a meme. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And then we just play electric fans. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Guys! Okay, our fan pulley isn't gonna come off. So now, let's mess around with this Holly ginormous 2-barrel and see if we can't get her freed it up. You didn't address that carburetor while I was playing around with the ignition? A good call. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. These AC lines are probably just unobtainium, so I'm just going to leave them there. 10. Like they're fine. Who would have stolen the throttle bracket? Seems like a really interesting piece to borrowed from this car. Anyway. Oh yeah. Fix the carburetor. Good to go. How about the choke now? Should we do anything with that? Sure, it'll be fine. We'll just jam a screwdriver in there. That always fixes it. We'll just have to put a big return spring on there. Maybe it'll come out of it too, who knows. There, that'll fix the choke. Just leave her unchoked. It's 35 degrees today, we don't need a choke. We don't need the AC, so just stay over there. Nobody wants you. Well, we know that this thing drank enough water to drown a very large mammal, so let's lift it up in the air, or I'm assuming so, and let's pull the drain plug on the oil pan and see how much water or other substances we can recover. I mean, it'd be great if we found like 60 gallons of oil to throw in the old oil burner to keep us warm this winter, but it's probably going to be Flint water. The 3 people that watch in Flint, 2 of you get so angry when I say that. Like, I'm the only person to joke about Flint water. I know that was like 6 years ago, but, you know, it is what it is. Look who decided to show up for work today. He's very sneaky. Just hiding back there. Oompa Loompa. Is it cold out or what? Duff's got a great big hug for you. Also, the Amazon man showed up today, and just in case this does run, we got Spectre Performance 42563, not a paid promotion. And we're definitely going to use all of the instructions on. Oh, dang it, these things cause reproductive harm as well. Well, I guess we won't be using the extra set for what we thought we were gonna. Finally got her to chin. Ooh, this drain pan, she's done some Dukes of Hazzard things. All right, there's gotta be, oh, yep. There's the precipitation leaking right by the threads. You know, let's catch that in something so we can document just how much water we caught. How convenient, a pan that's been collecting antifreeze. It was already here. Don't worry, my dog doesn't like to drink antifreeze. It's an acquired taste. That's probably better than Flint water. Not that I would know, I've never had it, so I shouldn't judge. Oh, that's, look at how clear that is. That's like Dasani. Long-time viewer, first-time caller. When I pull the drain plug on my oil pan of the engine of my 1970 Torino GT, how much water should be coming out before I get oil? Oh, we ain't got all day. Oh my word. Hopefully we don't need a bigger jug. If you're watching this and you got to take a leak, I would probably pause it, step away, or just step away. You're not going to miss anything, but you're not going to want to soil the beanbag chair you're laying in right now. Your roommates would not like that. It'll be fine. I'm sure that water's never froze. I mean, it's not like we're in the Rockies.
You've had this pair of extra gloves this whole time?
Yeah, we're in the Rockies.
Oh, it's okay. It's only in the bottom. Oh, we're getting oil. And then you just, you know, let some of the oil pass. Just a little bit till it's mostly all oil. Oh yeah. Good as new. Yep. We still getting some water? Dang it. Yeah, you don't need a water separator. Just crack your plug. Just a minimal amount so that only the water can get by. I am the smartest man alive!
I am the smartest man alive!
Oh, yeah, the way that the dipstick snapped off because it was so rusty was kind of the dead giveaway. I expected this, unfortunately. All right, we're gonna unhook the fuel line on this thing so we don't pull any... Who was President 99? Probably like one of the Bushes. Anyway, we don't want to pull any of that fuel into our super good Holley carburetor that's super stuck. But anyway, this is your reminder. Go to mortske.com, get yourself a ball cap, because Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Drinko, 5th of May, we're gonna have a little competition going. Who's got the crustiest cap? So see if anybody can keep up with me. Tech tip, we don't ship them to Canada, but you could buy one and you can go visit Dee Schmoo shop and just rub it all over his nasty garage floor, and you'll probably win, because that thing is absolutely disgusting. His dogs won't even go out there. That's how terrible his floor is. But anyway, get your ball cap. We got 2 designs. We got the Do and we got the Low Life. Get yours at mortske.com. And if you're worried about getting it dirty, get 2. You know, you can have one for when you take the old lady out to the old Sonic, and then you can have one for working out in the shop. And guess what? If you got the right old lady, you just wear the same hat for all of the above, and she'll appreciate it. So rub a little Croil on it, and she'll really enjoy your cap. All right, let's cut that fuel in. Should probably cut it somewhere so it's not pointing all over the exhaust. Oh yeah, we got to put spark plugs in. Should probably do that first, huh, Duff? Yeah, definitely gonna need spark plugs around. So that'll take an eternity. Also, these things are such a pain to swap. Now would be a time to put some new ones in. These are fine. We just got to find a single to replace that one that Duff broke. Yeah, that was your fault. So I'm not certain if Leland did that, cut them off at an angle, or the old R45 TSs were designed like that back in the day, but these ones are definitely not. They're new old stock. They're not. They weren't recently manufactured, I should say, but they don't have that angle on there. Interesting. Comment down below if you know what's going on there. That's some big horsepower deal or some gimmick they did for a while, or so that was something old Leland did when he had her going. There we go, got the easy side done. I hooked the plug wires up the same way they were before, so hopefully nobody messed with them and we should be good. The other thing I noticed is there's a bolt missing from the power steering bracket. And these 3/8 bolts are just barely threaded in. So I wonder, and then plus those AC lines are laying, I wonder if the AC compressor maybe got damaged in the incident, and they were in the process of taking that off. But still doesn't explain why the throttle cable bracket retainer is missing. So many unsolved mysteries.
Who can solve one of tonight's unsolved mysteries?
Now we get to deal with this miserable side. I don't know why, but it's tighter over here. It seems like, for some reason. One freaking eternity later, those things suck on that side, and I somehow misplaced my short wobble extension, and several hours that we've been working on this thing. So I guess we'll put one of those in the Amazon shopping cart. It's gonna be cutting into your Christmas gift. Sorry. Well, Mojo's over here. We just got our one set of heads back from Boom Tube and one set back from Scott's Machine in Fergus Falls. And we're going to put, this is the hot little 283 with the high compression pistons that was in the 38 Ford pickup. We're going to put this all back together now and hopefully do something with it. And we had Mojo slide the camshaft out so we could see the markings on the back, because I'm an idiot. It's over here. Oh yeah, and there's the update on the mezzanine. We got some really cool tote racking that we built because I love carpentry. And then the HC Fricky garage, that was in my grandpa's garage when I bought the place. And of course we put it on a 32 Ford 18-inch wheel with a Ford V8 hubcap. And that came from a local oil company. It started out in Foreman and then it went to Rutland, and that guy's no longer well, he's selling the business to some other gentleman, and I asked him about it. He said, I got a big offer, but he said, I tell you what, if you promise not to sell it, I'll sell it to you. So there it is, the old SoCo NY, Standard Oil Company, New York. That thing's pretty neat. Right, Duff? Yeah. We gotta hang some more stuff yet. Here's our fresh heads. Here's our camshaft. This is the back end. What's it? Oh, it's a Crower Monarch M-310-F. You know what that means? Yeah, me either. It means, what's this thing gonna sound like? You know what chop is? Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Yeah, she's gonna have some chop. Some Crower chop. Tip, go on Amazon, get yourself some of these trays. Are pretty slick, eh? Yeah. We got that one's for a stock, because you got to save used camshafts, because even Scott's told us new camshafts and lifters suck, don't they? Yeah, well, somebody wrote 327, but it's actually a 283, but it can identify as a 327 if we want. All right, slide her in, the old Crower M-310-F. Ready to fire this thing up, Duff? Spark plugs in it. I cleaned the battery cable ends because they were giving us fits. We got no radiator hoses hooked up. Should be fine. We got no fuel system, so we're just gonna drizzle some gas in there and see, what is this? A List 4412-S3383. We should look that up, see what kind of giant Holly 2 barrels on there. Hopefully it's numbers matching, you know? That way we can get the tens of dollars that this thing is worth at the Garrett Jackson auction sale thing in Okoboji, Wisconsin, or wherever that is. Duff, you keep an eye on the old side pipes. I'm not sure who put this rust in there, but we'll get her out of there. We definitely did not stage it. We don't stage our barn finds or videos here like some channels do, not naming names. Fill up the old float bowl, singular, meaning one, uno. Those are all the words that I know for one. Pull down the hatch for good luck. We got our loser switch. We got the throttle on the wrong side of the car. Let's just see what happens. Let's hook up the coil first. Yeah. Definitely won't be the last time we'll forget to do that. It's gonna light right off after sitting for 24 years. Just wait. I'm prophesizing it. What is the word? What did a coach always tell us in football? You need to see it happening before it happens, and then it'll happen. Premonition? You gonna get in and help? Are you in the cut on the camera? Yeah, you just hear me talking to myself over here and think, man, that kooky guy. All right, we got work to do. Slingshot, engage.
Slingshot engaged.
It wants to go, I think. Oh no, Duff, we knocked our hot sauce over. Hot pocket.
Hot Pockets.
Oh, come on, Leland. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold the show. Didn't we just talk about the Clampetts and the Beverly Hillbillies? We have struck oil.
Well, doggy.
Power steering pump's right there. And that's not power steering fluid. This thing got a plastic oil pressure line. Sure does. Going to the back of the engine. And then fish through the steering column hole. Ooh, that's a lot of... Looks like choke cable, 2 gauge coily wire springer thingers, and then 2 giant 10 gauge wires going through that boot in the column. Yeah, that's like, I won't even say how many girls and how many cups are involved with that thing, but anyway, yeah, let's find that oil leak. Let's unhook our coil wire first. Dang, man, you're lucky. You almost got sprayed. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's look at the plus side of this. We got oil pressure, so I mean, we got that going for us. But look at this anomaly. It's leaking from the oil filter, the old LF115. I wonder if that got punctured in the accident. Watch, as soon as I pull the rag off, she's just gushing out, so we can fix that. But anyway, I don't know if I can oh my gosh, just running out of there. Don't worry, Duff, I'll put a pan underneath it. Sorry, Greta.
How dare you?
So, here's our oil filter adapter, and there's a line coming off, and they got it looped. It's a copper line, must have had an oil cooler. And they got it looped coming around, and then it comes to this top side, so they must have bypassed it. And they got, it's pipe thread, which is fine. But then they got a adapter from a pipe thread to a flare, and then they got pipe thread to a T, adapted to a flare, and then coming out the bottom side, and this must be for a second oil pressure gauge. Yeah, it's a freaking disaster under here. That stuff is all just a ticking time bomb. But we're not gonna address that. We're just gonna stick a new filter on it. Go from there. Hopefully I got one. Oh, there it is right there, the hybrid plug-in. Well, it gets better, I guarantee it. I didn't even cut the line. This is a temp sensor, not a pressure sensor. So old Leland was monitoring the oil temp. So that's how fast this thing was. He wanted to know his oil temps. But I guess when you got a hitch on the back and you're towing just boatloads of tail, you probably want to know how warm your engine oil is. But we got this adapter off. Well, it just kind of came off on its own. So this threaded adapter, this is what your oil filter spins onto. We got a Baldwin B2 today because that's what's laying around. And then it's just a female connector on this side, so it's just a adapter from basically a spacer. That's all it is. And that guy was supposed to hold this on, but this came loose with the filter, so perfect. So now instead of just our filter seal to leak, like we're gonna have now, we're eliminating leak points. Look at this. This thing had a seal, so that's 2 leak points. You got that fitting, which is leak point there, leak point there. You got this whole line, which is a giant leak point. You got this T, so you got one on each side of that fitting, one on each side of that fitting, and then one on each side of this fitting. So I mean, getting rid of this menagerie is gonna be real nice. I'm guessing this kit was for exactly that, for putting a oil cooler on, and they thought it was a good idea to put it on there to use as a oil temp gauge, which I'm fine with oil temp gauge, but there's probably a lot better ways to do it than this menagerie. I think they could have just actually plugged this one and then put their adapter in that side. Because would this have been bypassing the oil filter? No, it shouldn't. Oh yeah, it most definitely was bypassing the oil filter, because you got this side, it's connected to the block, and then it goes through here to this side, which, yeah, so he was bypassing the oil filter the entire time. Oh my gosh. Just goes to show you, just because you think you're doing something right means you're doing something most definitely wrong. So we'll harvest some fittings off that. We'll throw that on the shelf for who knows what kind of rainy days. But anyway, just wanted to show you what was going on there, and I'm glad to be getting rid of all of that, because yeah, the old Hastings filter showed us where we needed to do some attention. All right, we'll put this on, get back to work. Look at how much DD Speed Shop body filler fell out of that exhaust stuff. All of the schmoo. Oh, Dan. He takes flexi hoses to a whole new step. He puts flexi exhaust pipes on, and I think he holds them up with plumber's tape. This is like NASA stuff compared to what goes on over there. His dogs are special too. He takes 2 of them, and they're still not nearly as cool as you, old man. Yeah. Speaking of old men, let's see what the old man is doing. What are you doing, Mojo? Torquing down some head bolts. We just noticed that this thing's got aftermarket, I think those are Head bolts. Mr. Gasket, grade 8s. Okay, we're probably better off with the stock ones than Mr. Gasket head bolts. Just kidding. I'm sure they're fine. Got our heads back from... Who did these ones? Boom Tube? Yeah. Yeah, Boom Tube. You can tell by the packaging. This is going to be our race car engine. 350 Chevy. Flat tops. Solid lifter cam, right? You got to put the solid lifters with the solid lifter cam. You don't mix and match. You don't mix and match. You can tell by the adjusters up here. And then we got the 283 here at the same time. Yeah, we found out that was that 310 Crowler. And then I don't know, then Mojo decided to start working on the other one instead. So while he's got the torque wrench out, we're gonna put the heads on this one. And then we're gonna flop back and forth, and hopefully we're gonna have 2 hopped up engines, a 283, 59 283 with pop-up pistons and a 310 Crowler cam and hydraulic lifters, and a 350 with flat tops and solid lifters and ported heads. I don't have much faith in this one. We were talking about this. I don't think whoever put this together knew what they were doing. Clearly by the DD Speed Shop oil pan extension lift kit thinger. We won't talk about that. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is drizzle a little more gas in here and see what happens, and then we might have to go ahead and hook up a fuel tank, because I'm sure the 25-year-old fuel in the one in the trunk is no bueno. The Mustang tanks like these are super cheap. I shouldn't say cheap, affordable, budget friendly, budget minded, and they fit really good in the back of pickups that had fuel tanks in the cab originally, like 67 to 72 Chevys and Fords and fridge style Fords and 60 to 66 Chevys. But yeah, they're good gas things. You pick them up really affordable. So if you're looking to relocate your fuel tank from inside your cab to on the frame rails, check those out. You can even get stainless options. The bad news is then you got to use the Ford sending unit, and they use a different ohm rating than GM's. But if you're putting in a Ford, you're fine. I'm gonna fish that oil temp line out of here so it ain't dragging on the road. I don't know why, but because I'm weird. All right, always hook the coil back up. Don't hook it on the rubber boot either. Now let's see what happens. Just needed some oil pressure, some hot sauce that we're out of. Somebody wants to bring us like a tanker load of fuel. That would be handy. You could be our fuel sponsor. Just send out like an 8,000 gallon container. That'd be great. Hear a little clattering in the top end, but we know we got oil pressures. A little quiet down. Horrible. All right, we know it's gonna run. Let's hook up the fuel tank. Fuel pump. Either we're out of gas or the fuel pump ain't working yet. Now watch fuel spray everywhere out of the old Holly. To be honest, not as bad as I thought it'd be. Oh, we could use the hood hinge bolts to clamp that in place, but we won't. Let's see what happens. No accelerator pump, who'd have thought? I don't think our carbonator's shooting any fuel into the engine. starter sound angry to you? It'll be fine. You'll be fine. I said you'll be fine. Definitely in gear and the transmission works. Here's a thought, maybe check to see that it's in park or neutral, and they probably also start easier if they don't have the load of moving the car on them. Not a very astute observation. Yeah, this carburetor sucks. What's hissing over here? I think it's gases escaping the battery. The carburetor sucks. Let's pull it off, pull it apart. See what we can figure out. I think we found part of the culprit. I thought this hardware looked like maybe somebody had been in here. Somebody's been here before, as the old Wes would say. What's his other line? Well, there's your problem, lady. You ever seen this one before? Don't want to run too good.
Yeah? Now what? You got the carburetor off.
Did you see what I found when I took it off?
What'd you find? Mouse nest? A rag in there.
Yeah.
Huh?
So is that for fuel economy? Is that a trick you guys used to do back in the day? Stuff a red rag down the intake? I feel like it probably wasn't that far down when I started. Oh, there's one in each side.
Each side, yeah.
How did this thing even run at all? Does that rag smell like chloroform? Do you think these bar napkins smell like chloroform? I'm kidding.
What'd you do? Put gas in there? You better pull that one out.
Oh, that's what we do around here is we pull out. God dang it. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if that one ain't stuck in a valve somewhere. Oh no. Who does that? Who puts a rag in the carburetor and then bolts the carburetor back on? They hooked up all the linkage and everything.
Yeah.
For dumb. I mean, I've seen rags, but then they just walk away.
Yeah.
Maybe put some tape over the top or a cinder block. Boy, it's like taking the restrictor plate out of the Red Dragon, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Took the restrictor plate off, give the Red Dragon a little more juice. But let's keep that on the down low.
Well, now you're going to have a Ford engine running without the rags.
God dang it. Tell you what, we're going to be crapping in high cotton now.
Oh, yeah. Shoot.
I'm going to be able to kick the crap out of your small block Chevrolets over there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's an 0.62 diesel.
Why get this going? Be like a 6.2 running.
Yeah, just a rattle trap waiting for a frickin' rod to come out the side of the block, huh?
You know, after 30 years, I haven't put any plugs or plug wires on my pickup.
No crap. Huh. You don't say. Well, maybe we'll try that. Maybe we'll just bolt that carburetor back down and see what happens. What the heck? Just when you thought you'd seen it all. How's the gasket look? Perfectly terrible. Accelerator pump, be a good time to replace that. Oh, where do you quit though? If only we had a good one of these laying around. Snutch rocket. We could do a junkyard digs and overhaul it on the tailgate of the pickup. Well, that might have something to do with why the throttle bracket, clamp, retainer, and such is missing, I suppose. Maybe they had this carburetor off because it's no good. Or maybe somebody stole the correct high performance 1970 Torino GT Cleveland 2-barrel and put some 360 Ford hot garbage on there. What we did there definitely isn't gonna be the equivalent of overhauling this carburetor, but I'm guessing it'll certainly help. This thing's gonna be ready for NASCAR after that. I suppose that was part of the reason why the throttle was so sticky? Not really. Let's give this another whirl. And that is a big old pile of DD Speed Shop floor pan right there. We'll just quiet down over there. We got things to do. That's worse than nails on a chalkboard. We gotta get this thing running decent, starting better, because that starter is all ready to exit stage left.
Exit stage left.
I think we need a Bendix. It's kicking out before it'll start. That's not good for the flex plate. I don't think it's gonna cut it, kids. I think we gotta pull the starter apart. Yay! I think we gotta pull a carburetor apart as well. Okay, that's it. We gotta pull that carburetor off and adjust that. Well, we still have just an ounce of life left in our starter down there. The old Florida man keeps hissing. I can't imagine it has anything to do with the Bondo on the bottom side. All right, let's pull that thing back off again. Well, there's your problem, lady.
Well, there's your problem.
Imagine that, a whole bunch of debris in there. Of course, we tore the gasket. I mean, this ain't the worst looking carburetor we've been in, but it's far from the best. Let's pop these guys out, see what they look like. We can clean them up. Wide open. That's not our problem. What's on the back side of those? To be quite honest, I've never had one of these Hollies apart, so we're learning together here. I think there's I don't know, what's this, a metering block or some dang thing? I'm not even gonna talk and try to sound smart, because I'm not. Ooh. Is there something else that's holding it? Oh, look, there's a pretty good spot to pry back here, maybe. Wow. Well, I guess we can take these guys out. These, I think, are fuel air mixture screws. So we're gonna see, there's a half. Yeah, just about a full turn out. This side. Oh, good spot for the old super scraper. Get yours at mortske.com. We sold out quick. We got a couple of SS5S's on hand. They're great stocking stuffers, and you'll have it by Christmas if you order now. But wait, there's more. I'm gonna crack the base of this carburetor. Oh, for cheese and rice. What's holding you on? When all else fails, get a bigger bar. Oh yeah, that gasket. She's done. We're gonna be looking for a different carburetor. Power valve? See, I know things. Yeah. I'll go look. But I don't think I got a gasket for this thing. Alright, we found this old junker. It's a Motorcraft, so it doesn't have that metering block. The top comes off. But I think it's got the same base bolt pattern. Yep. So, it's gonna be just good enough for the girls we go with. Like I said, super scrapers. We don't have the SS1 right now. We got them on order. But get yours at mortske.com. Pretty much the greatest scraper known to man. Or we wouldn't advertise it. Got myself a new used gasket here that looks like it backfired and blew out. I'm sure that'll be just fine. Is there a front and a back to these? Most definitely, and I'm sure we did it the wrong way. Probably. Maybe. Oh yeah, that don't look right at all. Final answer. I wonder what Jeff Foxworthy's doing these days. Is he still doing Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Congratulations, you're smarter than a fifth grader!
We're gonna have a bunch of vacuum leaks, so probably better block those off. We want to have a chance at this thing running. This does have a kick down. Good to know. That fourth one's a real pain to get out of these Motorcrafts, so we're just gonna pretend like it's gonna identify us tight right now. Well, maybe we can get at it. I mean, don't walk over to the other side of the car to get your wrench. Just lean over the top and drop it, so you have to go over there anyway. Got it. Fuel line. Do they make, they make stop leak for everything. Oil, engine oil, transmission fluid, power steering fluid. Do they make stop leak for fuel lines? Somebody needs to market that. There's an opportunity there to make some money. Or a giant lawsuit. We should make like a parody. I don't know, parody? Make fun of? We could make a Mortske fuel stop leak. Yeah. What would we put in it? Because I mean, pepper and eggs are already for red meat eaters. So what do you put in with fuel? Oh, sugar. That's what it is. We're just gonna have a giant bag of sugar that you dump in your fuel tank. Didn't Mythbusters bust that? Yeah, whatever. We're still doing it. Or just a bunch of varnished gasoline.
Bingo, bango, sugar in a gas tank.
Oh, the stuff I think of when left to my own demise. Is that the word? Yeah, definitely my demise. All right. Will this reach? Then we don't have to have it. Oh, that's the wrong size. So, need a vacuum plug. Only one though. Fuel air mixture screws are hidden up front. The accelerator pump is down on the bottom. One's the accelerator pump, one's a power valve. One's at the bottom, one's at the front. I think the one at the bottom is power valve. Guessing that's accelerator pump. There, no giant 3/8 fitting vacuum leak. That I suppose is our vacuum advance. And this one's plugged on this side. All right, let's see what happens. I mean, it can't be any worse than the last one, right? Yeah, it definitely can. Yeah, the last one wasn't leaking fuel everywhere. Somehow. Get my adjuster ready here. Yeah. Just talk nice to the old Motorcraft. It's good to go. Get your MojoCraft decals at mortske.com. Sorry for all the plugs, but it's Christmas time. Duff's got a big Christmas list, so we need to sling some merch so that he can get everything he wants. And believe it or not, Thumbs is on the list, and they don't give those things away. All right, here we go. Throttle not stuck wide open. Choke. How do you stay open? My fingers, I guess. Slingshot, engage. We got a giant vacuum leak somewhere. Maybe? She runs pretty good. And I don't know if the throttle blades are catching on the gasket, because of course nobody checked that, so let's check that. But she actually sounds pretty respectable. And I won't even say, even for a Ford. Where's our vacuum leak? I mean, I'm sure. Oh my. There's vacuum lines everywhere on this thing. Oh. That's 70. Have I told you how much I hate these AC lines? Okay. Let's pull that carb off and see if the throttle blades are catching on that gasket. New record for most times removing a carburetor on YouTube Will It Run video. Comment down below if these Motorcrafts are even comparable to the Hollies, or the Hollies a million times better. Because I really don't know. Well, that lines up with those. That's a lot of gas I just dumped on the exhaust manifold. I bet we can recover that though. Oh yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant! We'll just spill it a different spot now is all that's gonna happen. Maybe we need one of them giant thick gaskets like Ford likes to use. Ah, they use them on the quadra box too. Chrysler probably uses them as well. Oh yeah, that most definitely is a giant vacuum leak. Right there, we gotta get the right gasket. So what's going on here, as you can see our gasket, you can see all these, I'll show you this first. There's all these ports going around here, and they're tied right there to our butterflies. And with this gasket on here, that port is wide open right there. So I could hear that just whistling air through there. Turbulence, is that what they call that? We're experiencing turbulence.
Oh, turbulence! Oh, I fell over! Oh, I fell over again!
That's not what you experience on a plane. It's not that, it's something else. I'm gonna go look for a gasket. Looks like we got our winner here. This is a CarQuest by Victor Rains G26746, made in USA. So here's our original gasket. When you overlay them, you can see it's gonna work. Always have too many gaskets. Do you know how many different Ford base gaskets I have on hand? Ugh, yeah, there must be a few. And this probably isn't even the one this thing calls out for, but I think it'll work. It even says front up, so you can't put it on wrong. So you're not supposed to put it on wrong. Alright.
What are you doing? Cleaning up your headers?
Too smoky in here for you? Oh yeah.
Smoky in here.
Weight loss over there. All that horsepower just slamming that rust out.
It's still a Ford.
It's still a Ford?
Yeah, 4RD.
You never, oh, you had a Ford with a flathead in it, I remember.
Yep. 54 Ford.
No, you had a pickup too with a flathead. 54 was the Y block. How's your project coming along? You adjusting some valves over here?
I'm adjusting valves.
Setting some backlash. Got the old feeler gauge out. I won't tell you how many thousands it is because somebody on the internet will say you're doing it wrong. You know what the internet even is?
What is that?
It's a place where everybody thinks they know everything.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty much like a bunch of truck drivers sitting around computers.
All I gotta do is go to a truck stop.
Truck. You want to learn anything? You just go to a truck stop. They done it, but they ain't moved no buildings with a rollback Chevrolet in a big block, have they?
I know they haven't, but I know one fellow that did.
Yeah, god dang right we did. All right, I'll let you get back to work. Quit slacking over here. All right, let's see if this thing will light off again. It's 50 degrees again today in December, so we should probably take advantage of this weather. Open the doors and not die of the old monoxide-ism. Duff's out hanging out, doing Duff things outside. There's the flag this week, I Heart Hot Moms, in case you were wondering. Old DB hung that up yesterday when we were moving that building. Stay tuned to the end of this video for when we move a building. It's probably not that entertaining, but it went really well. Now the hard part, putting it in the right spot. Suppose we lost any oil? Our stick doesn't go down far enough. Maybe we'll dump a quart in just for S's and G's. Look at that, synthetic Napa, getting the good stuff. 1030. Try not to knock too much dust down that intake for valve cover. All right, what did we forget? Guess we'll find out. Hopefully we resolved our vacuum leak. Should idle a lot lower. Motorcraft don't want to return to idle that well. Oh, that spring's no bueno. Not a good day to be a spring at Mortske Repair. Third time's a charm. That's my motto. Let everybody Wang Chung tonight.
That and everybody Wang Chung tonight.
I feel like we're not getting the full throttle action. Might as well take that carburetor off again. Yeah, there's got to be more throttle play than that. We need all the throttle on this hot rod. Yeah, now it's going. I think we need a different gasket, a thicker one. Guess what we got in the stash? A thicker one that I didn't want to use. We're gonna blow the budget and lose the shop on this one. Good thing we can move shops in with our rollback. New old stock Ford part number DZ AZ D7 AZ-9C477-A. So what's that mean? 70. Why is that pump running? 77 carburetor gasket? We don't care. Maybe this carburetor's from 77. Carb studs are long enough, so we're gonna roll with it. Now, still, what is the hang up on the throttle? Dumb. How are we gonna do burnouts when we don't have full throttle? It only goes back to there, but I bet when I pick it up, it'll go back further. Yep. So what's it hitting? Nothing on the outside. Not hitting the intake. Well, right there's your problem, lady. It's hitting on my gasket. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's hitting over here. Choke stuff. Not bad, not bad. Good thing we don't need a choke. So, this is your high idle choke linkage stuff over here. Pretty sure that that's hitting this EGR block off plate stuff. So, you could either raise the carburetor up higher, you know, and make all the horsepower with like a high ram, or you just disconnect the choke linkage. Sure enough, there's your problem. Whap, whap, whap. Alright, first step, let's take a screw out. And then the second step, we're going to take a bolt out. See how much clearance that gets us. It's hitting on this EGR block off plate bolt. So if we just take the bolt out, it shouldn't leak because it's got 3 other bolts holding it in place. Provided that is not a through hole. It is not a through hole. And the screw is what's hitting it. So we can take that screw out of there. Let's see what happens. If we got to take that arm off, we got to take that arm off. Oh yeah. So right here is our wide open throttle stop, and that's what it hits. We're getting all the R's now. You want to cycle that a few times to make sure it don't hang up on you. Don't ask me how I know. And yeah, you always want a kill switch. It's reachable from in the car. If it does stick wide open, again, don't ask me how I know. Put a little return spring action on there. Good enough. Kick down, we don't need that. It's console shift, we can just jam her down on our own. We'll hook the throttle cable up even though it's not hooked to anything. All right, now let's give her a whirl. She's gonna have all the fraps. That starter is so thankful that we found that carburetor. It's not how you thank me. purring like a kid. All right, that's probably enough heat. Now we got to figure out the coolant situation. Sounds pretty good for a Ford, eh?
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we even impressed Mojo. Even got enough power to shoot some of its own, clean up after itself. Look at this chunk of the old belt came zinging off. Nice part about not having a fan is you don't have to worry about a fan blade going through your face, but you got to worry about the belts delaminating apparently. Now we got Leland running good. We need some brakes, and we need a throttle bracket, and we need a radiator hose, and we need some coolant, all that. So I'm just gonna dig through my stash of radiator hoses. I'm gonna figure out something for a throttle cable bracket. I'm gonna dump some brake fluid in here and crack some bleeders just on the calipers in the front, because who needs rear brakes? Especially we're gonna try to do big smoky burnouts. So you guys don't wanna watch me do that in real time, so Chin's gonna speed her up real quick and make it look like we do on the big boy channels. Just kidding, they got people in the back that do all the work for them. So we're like almost the big boy channel. Second set of heads, cranking them down. Freaking NASCAR over there. Should make him do it with a speed wrench. I bet he's got one. I bet I do too. Gonna need to work on the brakes.
Huh?
I said we're gonna need to work on the brakes.
Oh.
So current state of the Torino. Runs pretty good, a little bit rough. Tranny was about a gallon low, just like every one of them is. Radiator's leaking. We don't have a fan. Core support's still whammied in. We only got front brakes, probably because the nail that's in the rear brake line. Wonder who put that there. Innocent. We can't start it from inside the car. The starter wire is ran inside the car to a button or a switch or something that I can't find. Maybe Leland's got some type of security system in there. So we gotta use the loser switch. Fuel tank's tied down. I think we're ready to go test it out. Probably not gonna do a road trip, partially because the radiator and the fan situation. And like I said, the brakes they're not good. I got them all bled up and still, they're not good. Obviously the reservoirs were dry in the master cylinder, so clearly that fluid is leaking out somewhere, so we got issues. But the exhaust, real nice.
Really nice.
Seems like she's got some pretty good low end torque. So let's take this thing outside and rip around a bit. Wanna go for a ride? Yeah? In a Ford with a Cleveland? Yeah, Duff said to remind you, the quick and easy way to identify a Cleveland is the top radiator hose goes into the block and not into the intake manifold. Kind of like this guy, goes in right above the water pump where the timing chain is. Where I'm guessing the other Fords drop into the intake manifold, apparently. Now you know. And I guess a Cleveland has no, never mind. I'm not going to talk about the bell housing pattern because somebody's going to correct me and say, no, they made some over in Australia, because like the Cleveland modifieds are big over in Australia. And I guess you can make like a cleaver, which is, I think, a Windsor with Cleveland heads. But I don't know anything about those. All right, let's get set up to do this. We should probably wash that windshield where Chin and I were talking about taxes. So it's a whole bunch of gibberish because neither of us know anything about how to do taxes or how they work. It's just magic money the government takes away from us. The headliner's sacked out. So I put the loser switch on your side. You want to bump it over? Okay, I'll do it. Keys on. Lights right up. Brake check. Got him. Burnout check. Yep. Brakes dragging. Yep. Crap. Oh, yeah. I can pull the brakes up and down with my foot. What is that noise, though? Something in the braking system? In the left front wheel, maybe? She's breezy today. Well, we didn't make it very far. Any guesses as to why it died? Oh, you want to jump out and hook up the fuel pump? I'll do it. You stay here. I'll do it. All right, try number 2. No thumbs. Got it. I'll start it. Oh, it's a headliner rod. There a bunch of crap in the hubcap up here rolling around or what? First, but I think she'll do a burnout, Duff. Should we try? Hubcap or something up there is full of rocks. Tranny also not happy. I think it's the shift linkage though. It's like it's in between gears. poopy there for a second. What's that all about? You heard it too. Oh, damn you, headliner. She's running rich. You can tell by the exhaust coming out of the exhaust. All right. Fortunately, this isn't going to be much of a test drive between the radiator, the wind, the lack of a fan, and the brakes are super grabby, and I have to manually pull up the pedal with my left foot in order to get the brakes to release. So I don't know what's going on. If it's probably in the master cylinder is what I would guess. But anyway, we can still do burnouts, so let's set up the burnout cameras, Duff. And this door does not open from the outside very well, but it opens from the inside just great. Come on! No kisses right meow. Are you gonna ride in the car for the burnout? Or are you gonna get out and spectate? Look at that sweet speaker hacked into the dash. Oh, what is that? RJP auto reverse. That's molded into the dash too. Real nice. Does the tack work? Hit the button. No tack. Temp gauge, I'm guessing, isn't hooked up. Fuel gauge, those never work. Look at these cute little gauges though. And this one, he's got her mounted in some type of cylinder. Console shifter. Guessing that's some type of vent. Center console is all busted to heck. Spare bulbs, spare keys. Oh look, spare sheet metal parts. That must be the tail pan underneath the bumper where the license plate goes. Another speaker, spare antenna. The one was big on the old stereos, apparently. We knew this door was off another car, but she's off a 71. The cool thing about Fords is, it tells you the body, it's O for the color, trim is JA, axle is 3, transmission is W, and then DSO, dealer service order or something, special order. So anyway, yeah, you can tell what motor, transmission, or axle and transmission it has just by that little tag right there, huh, Duff? So yeah, a lot of parts interchange between 70 and 71 on these. Oh, I found what was making the noise up here. We're gonna need another strap. Definitely wasn't a hubcap. We'll take care of that. Yeah, this thing is definitely not safe for the road. But let's be honest, most of the stuff that we work on isn't. Doesn't stop us, does it? Which tire is gonna spin? Oh, they both spun in here at one point, but maybe one was going forward, one was backing up. I'm guessing it's gonna be the passenger side. How about you? Yeah, passenger side. Tail's awful waggly today. Is that a word? Waggly? Yeah, super windy. The old I Heart Hot Moms is very rigid today. You coming inside for the burnout? May as well. Hold up. Come on.
You have them spinning tires, do you?
Out the shop, you know. We may have to come up with a new plan. It just pushes through the front brakes because they're in gravel. Like I said, we need a bigger burnout pad. But you know, we did just pour a concrete pad for that building, and we're gonna move at the end of this video. So we might as well break that in, right? Well, here she is, our new 12 by 26 pad with a 4-foot apron on the back for some pallet racking to put all this junk on. And stay tuned for this guy. And we put a little, what is that, 6-foot apron on the front. Had to drive our building out of the way. But yeah, ready to back her on here once we get the lift kit. Let's break it in, see what happens. Should put tie-down points for cars with crappy brakes like this. Now we're talking. Burnout pad next summer. Duff, is there an animal underneath this pallet racking and you shot all this gravel onto our nice new pad here? Couldn't have been. How many axles is too many rear axles and front axles? Let's do this. No way this works. I would say we broke her in right nicely, Duff. Oh yeah, all the way down our 20-foot patch. Leland's not happy about it though. Well, the radiator anyway. We're gonna have to environmentally handle that right there. But at least it's not on our new concrete pad. Cool.
Cool.
We just gotta fix everything. Or you can, if you wanna own this thing. Price and availability in the video description. Hit us up, mortskerepair@gmail.com. Or if you got a whole front clip with good quarters and everything else this car needs. Pretty much if you got a whole nother car that we can just put these 3 hubcaps and 3 BD rings on, it'll be all right. There you have it. We took a 1970 Ford Torino GT 351 Cleveland and got it running for the first time in 24 years. Thank you very much for watching. Go check out our merch. We got magnetic can koozies, we got magnetic screwdrivers, we got some sweet new banners on hand. Make sure to get yourself a ball cap. Duff's barking saying get yourself a ball cap. Dirtiest ball cap competition coming up in May, so you got plenty of time to break yours in. We got shirts, we got Low Life on hand, we got Dew, we got Cowboy Cadillac, we got decals, we got it all. If we don't have it, you don't need it. We got a Torino. You could have that too. Remember, doesn't matter how you get done, so long as you are having fun. Duff, what do you think? Burnouts are fun. If this Torino were about 44 times better, it'd be way more good, but not so much. All right, on to the next one. Maybe a 59 Pontiac, maybe a Nova. 55 Chevy 2-door, or some old iron Fords. 34 Ford truck, 37 Ford truck. We got options.
But wait, there's more.
Today the Duff Dog and I and Mojo are at Handsome Rob's. And we're gonna do something we never done before. You ever moved a building before?
Been a long time ago.
I knew it wasn't gonna be a yes or a no. So it sounds like a yes, but we got a 12 by 20 single stall garage. Oh, I forgot we gotta cut the door opening. So here's the plan. We got a rollback. We're gonna haul it with that. And we're gonna lift it with that. And we gotta use some wood to do everything in between. And then we're gonna raise it up 2 feet so it's a little bit taller. Looks like she's framed in 2x4s. It's in really good shape. It needs a roof, but caught it in time. It ain't all rotten. And we got a bunch of tin from tearing down the museum. So we're gonna use that to re-tin it. We're gonna put it in a taller overhead door, and we're gonna get rid of that door. And yeah, we couldn't find any bolts holding the base down. So I think we're just gonna go in the corner of the Bobcat, sneak the forks through there, sneak the forks through there. Up front, we can just lift with the forks on that door. Or should we just take that door out and throw it away before we even start?
Good idea.
Good idea, Mojo says. All right. Well, that's what we'll do, because we got to cut that out wider to get the bed through here. And then we'll figure out what we got to cut for boards to go crossways. Easy peasy, right? So I think what we're gonna do, it's an 18-foot bed on the trailer, the rollback. So we're gonna put our cross piece right below that one that's already there, then that'll support the end of the building. We're just gonna wing it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wing it. We'll go from there. Now our bed is too wide to fit through here, so I think if we take a 1x off of each side, we'll have room. What did somebody say? You might have the wrong clips. I like when carpenters leave you notes, unless they're terrible ones. Well, that is old rope. Romex wiring, so that ain't that old. I wonder what vintage this thing's from. I'd say probably the 40s. What do I know? On today's episode of This Old One-Stall Garage, we ruined the whole dang thing. What do you think, Duff? Is this fun? Should go back to working on old cars. I concur. Why couldn't we have bought a building with an old car in it? Get your magnetic koozie at mortskerepair.com. 8 foot. Oh man. 96.5. We got a 1/4 inch on either side. All right, got her bolted in the back and screwed. So we got this board holding it. And then we got 2 2x10s up here. Let's put a bolt in those. They can't go nowhere. Now we gotta see.
Wait, huh? You might have to move them, huh?
Yeah, let's see if the truck fits before we drill any holes.
More holes? Huh?
Old Duff, he's a good backer upper. It's a tight fit. We're gonna be right up to the light up top. But she's in there. You gotta go back a little bit more. So we're gonna pick up the back end. Once I get her up high enough, then Mojo's gonna back her underneath. dang it, it's got plywood on this side. That's green treat though. Duff, you do a good job. You want to back her in that last 1.5 feet? That'd be great. We must have hit something. That back corner by you dropped out for some reason. All right, she's in there. It's sitting on the bed on the back. We're gonna do a little moving with the 2x10s up front. But yeah, the old big block pull down a house and a garage. Well, there she is, Mojo says.
There she is.
Should we get some cheap tarp straps and put on there?
Oh, we could.
Oh, we got to lift the front up here to get them blocks out. We ain't in the clear yet, you're saying. How's this side? Oh yeah, we got to pick that up a bit yet too. So we just got to take these blocks out on the front side, and we're ready to pull out. And that is our expertise. Also, don't make a combine out of a 715 International. Poor decisions were made by handsome Rob. Rob, he's Rob the third. Rob the second's watching. He's probably like, that damn kid of mine. That's a cute hammer you got there. I'll bring the skid steer. How straight are we? Should I move it over? We got the chase pickup, the old double D. Chin showed up to supervise, like the blister.
Good.
It shows up when all the work's done.
I had to work today, man. This is extracurriculars.
Man, we got all the generations. We got the GMT 800, the GMT 400, and the old square body pulling up the rear.
Boy. Yeah, that was got the corner a little bit there. We're good up. Big enough to where it would probably cause a problem.
11:30 Saturday morning. We got some gentlemen in a Denali HD in a trailer coming to look at that 48 coupe, so hopefully that goes well. I always like it when people show up with a trailer, you know? Tire kickers don't bring trailers. Once in a while people go home empty, but usually trailers mean business. Right, Duff? And that's what we like, business. It's chilly out there, so I'm gonna let them look it over for a bit. Drink some warm coffee in here, then we'll mosey out there. I know you want to go out there. All right, 48's going to Hosmer, South Dakota. Let's do some rollback stuff. Get her unloaded. Ah, Duff, what a majestic beast you are.